Cool. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining this morning's webinar. This morning's topic we're going to be covering is Sennheiser's Toolkit for AV. So just a quick couple of introductions. I'm Ben Spurgeon, so I'm the Head of Technical here at Audiologic.
And hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Inesh Patel. I'm Business Development Manager at Sennheiser UK from the Business Communication team. Been at Sennheiser for about 8 years. I've actually been in AV for close to 25 years. Nice to be here.
Great, thanks, Inesh. Just a couple of really simple bits of housekeeping this morning, just so we can keep the webinar running on time. We're going to run through the webinar in a fixed format, so we won't be answering questions as we go. But if you could please pop any questions you have into the Q&A. What we'll do is we'll do a dedicated answer sessions at the end of today's webinar, just so we can keep it nice and fast. Questions are moderated. We'll be looking at them and then publishing them, like I said, at the end of the webinar. And this is being recorded, so anybody that wants to watch this back or send it out to colleagues and or friends, that will be sent out following the webinar to your email address, so feel free to share that on as you see fit. So what we're going to cover in the next 30 minutes. So we're going to do introductions to both Audiologic and to Sennheiser. We're then going to take a look at medium-sized spaces that we typically design day in, day out here at Audiologic, and how we can tackle these rooms with this toolkit for Sennheiser and their AV products. Finally, we're then going to look at the partnership between the two brands and then go on to the Q&A. So a quick introduction to Audiologic. We've been distributing audio and AV products for over 20 years now. We're based in the UK and a business for the UK-based AV integrators. We're a team of over 40 staff now, so we're growing on a year-on-year basis up to a huge team of 40, of which 6 of them are engineers that are designed to help you specifying your AV projects. We're part of the EAV Group, which is a European AV collective of pro audio distributors. And we're a one-stop shop, so we work with many, many famous audio brands. But of course, today we're focusing on Sennheiser. And we do much more than just product distribution. We're here to help you design projects right from the start, whether that be site visits or going through schematics and floor plans to help design your solutions. We then supply the equipment and then come and support you afterwards, whether that's commissioning or post-sale support. We'll help you through every step of the design process.
So here we are, a very quick overview of who Sennheiser are and where we've come from, for those of you that might not be familiar. It all started 80 years ago, 1945. Dr. Fritz Sennheiser started the company in this little farmhouse that you see in a small town called Vennerbostel, just outside Hanover. And now, 80 years on, it's actually grown to look like this. The rest of the Sennheiser complex has been built around this farmhouse. This farmhouse is still on that complex. And if you see that road on the right-hand side, if you follow that road down, you'll go past these main buildings, past the factory, and you'll come to the farmhouse as it was originally founded. It's now become a bit of a museum area, but it's really interesting. Sennheiser is still a family-owned business, as started by Dr. Fritz Sennheiser in 1945. He handed the business down to his son, Dr. Jörg Sennheiser, who's now handed it on to his 2 sons themselves, so the grandsons of the founder, Daniel and Andreas Sennheiser. A few firsts we should mention. Sennheiser were the first company to make and introduce the shotgun microphone into the world of audio. Sennheiser actually won an Academy Award for their contribution of the shotgun microphone towards filmmaking. And a little known fact is that due to the microphone technology produced by Sennheiser, we were also responsible for introducing phantom power, 48-volt phantom power to mixing desks. Small known fact. And just to highlight where we've come from, who we are, what we do, I think many of you know that we are obviously used in high performance stage live production. Here's some of our artists that you see on screen. Also theatre world, the vast majority of theatre production all use Sennheiser microphone technology. And obviously TV, film and program making, whether that be live or pre-recorded, use a lot of our professional headsets as well as live microphones. And a small known fact, Neumann is part of Sennheiser. So Neumann became part of Sennheiser in 1991. They're responsible for making really high-end studio-style microphones used for broadcast recording applications, as well as monitors as well. And they've actually started to make some live microphones as well. So we've taken all of this experience, this knowledge that we've built over the last 80 years, and we've actually introduced it into the world of audiovisual or business communications, as we call it at Sennheiser. And so the topic of today is, how do we overcome medium-sized challenges in medium-sized rooms? And one of the first things we have to overcome as a challenge is when somebody comes to us and says, I have a medium-sized space, I'd like you to take a look at it. So we can look at the dictionary and establish what a medium-sized space is, and it tells us that it's neither large nor small, but approximately halfway between the two. So already we've set up a big challenge as to what are we dealing with. Thankfully, Microsoft themselves has given some guidance to us in the AV world as to what a medium space might look like. So Microsoft has given us some guidelines where, you know, it's a room, maybe 6 to 12 people, and the dimensions are probably around about 5.5 meters by 6 meters, basically a 6 meter distance. We can take that and start to plan things, but we can all see that actually when you establish a medium-sized space, medium-sized spaces themselves can be different in these aspects. So it brings about different challenges. As you can see with some of the pictures that you see of medium-sized spaces, some of them have fixed furniture, some of them have flexible furniture, some of them are a bit more focused around what they're looking at, and others are a little bit more real ad hoc. And some of them don't even have stationary boundaries, basically flexible spaces. So we have all of these things that we can overcome. And thankfully, within Sennheiser, we have the tools to overcome that. Why do we have the tools to overcome it? Well, Sennheiser, in the 80 years, have always produced microphones that adhere towards maybe a flat frequency response, meaning whatever you put in is whatever you get out. This is why we have trusted Sennheiser sound quality, as often is referred to. It means that the signals are intelligible and high quality audio. So it means you don't need to do as much processing in the background as well. So what you put in is what you get out. And when it comes to meeting rooms, that's another key thing. We always want to be able to engage with everybody. Everybody in the meeting room should be able to be heard. Everybody in the meeting room should be able to hear what's going on as well. And we want everybody to be included. So if it's a meeting room where people need to share content, if need be, we have to give the ability to everybody to be able to share content. And obviously, we saw some of those medium-sized spaces where flexibility is key. The room I'm in is also a flexible space, and this is where the technology we produce is ideal for using in flexible spaces. So what are we talking about? What are we looking at? Let's have a quick look at the Sennheiser Toolkit for AV. Very quickly, we'll briefly look at this. As you can see, some of the products there, we've got the speech line range, which we'll take a look at, the TeamConnect family. We've got Mobile Connect and Control Cockpit software. And at Sennheiser, we do what we do best. We make fantastic microphones. Hopefully you'll agree with that. But what we don't do is a full ecosystem. So we actively work with third-party companies that provide those other elements that Sennheiser don't. And we work with them really closely to adhere to certification processes around video technology, control systems, connectivity, conferencing platforms, but also we don't even do installed speakers, DSPs or amplifiers. And this is where working with third-party companies comes into our own. So we can provide you, the dealer and the customer, with the best known elements of all of the disciplines that go to making a great AV system. And thankfully at Audiologic, working with Audiologic, we have some of our great collaboration alliance partners that you can obtain from Audiologic. So using Sennheiser with the available alliance partners through them, you can get a really good complete AV solution. So let's take a quick look at some of these solutions. We've got the TeamConnect Bar family. Yes, we brought these out sort of last year. It could be told that we're late to market, but actually we've come to market with confidence with these video bars because we knew we could do certain things with the video bars that nobody has ever done. So we've improved audio quality in this sector straight away. If you get the chance to experience these devices, please do, because the audio quality coming out of this, and actually I'm using the medium bar on this call. We've also introduced some firsts. So it's the first bar to have Dante integration, and I'll expand on that as we come along to the next slide. So firstly, Microsoft have also given us guidance around what a small room looks like. So maybe up to a 4-meter dimension. And this is where the TeamConnect Bar Small comes in, covering a pickup radius or pickup distance of the microphones up to 4 meters quite comfortably. So ideal for those sort of smaller huddle type spaces. And when we do get to those medium spaces, which is a dimension up to 6 meters, the TeamConnect Bar Medium, which is what I'm using today, comes into its own because the microphones on the bar can easily reach up to 6 meters. You can expand on these. So I mentioned the bars have Dante integration. You can put up to 2 channels of Dante mics into the bars, and the DSP on board will handle that. But it's the first bar also to provide a mixed audio output that you can then feed off to assisted listening solutions, lecture capture, or third-party recording. So a really unique tool that you can do. And that's just a highlight. You can do a lot more with these. So please do talk to us when you need to plan things. We've then got the TeamConnect Ceiling family. So we've got the TeamConnect Ceiling Medium, which has a pickup radius of 3.5 to 4.5 meters in all directions. TeamConnect Ceiling 2, which will do 5 to 6 meter pickup radius in all directions. And it's got patented beamforming audio technology, which differentiates it to other ceiling microphone technology on the market. We can obviously highlight speaker tracking and do that. We've also got an algorithm on board these mics, which allow for voice lift. And it's called the Sennheiser True Voice Lift because we do the processing on board the mic, meaning you don't have to do as much in the background on the DSP. And I'll highlight that in a second. Something new for the TeamConnect Ceiling Medium is intelligent noise control. So if there is some constant noise, we can actually differentiate that and reduce that constant noise. But the other thing about the ceiling microphones is that we have introduced a 5-year warranty. You do have to register online, but it gives you a complete peace of mind for a long period of time. These basically don't go wrong anyway. You have to do something really bad to get them wrong. But what we want to address on this is you can see how the beamforming works. It actually highlights the person speaking. And if that person decides to move around, that beam will actually follow them and move around with them. And as soon as somebody else starts talking, it will within milliseconds focus on that second person. But this microphone technology also allows you to do everything you need in a space, because when you get to that size room where maybe you're 8 meters or more away from somebody in the space, you may start to struggle to hear them. So a little bit of voice lift is needed, and rather than have to introduce additional hardware, if you're using ceiling microphones from Sennheiser, you can activate that true voice lift element and put the audio from the microphone back into the room and get crystal clear audio as well as natural sounding audio. But do talk to the Audiologic team or ourselves to help plan and provide some experience or knowledge on setting one of these solutions up. Works really well. And for assisted listening, so everybody's got these smart devices in their pockets. Mobile Connect is designed to stream audio over Wi-Fi to the smart device, and the user interfaces with that smart device as they would do in everyday normal day-to-day life. People are always FaceTiming, playing games, watching videos on their phone, and so even the assisted listener is doing exactly the same as the rest of us. So they're using that device, interfacing with that device. So we send the audio to that device and they interface and get the audio as they see fit. It's not only used for assisted listening, it's also used as a tool for focusing in meetings as well. So, you know, if you've got a lot of background noise going on, you can actually send the audio straight to your ears and block off all of those other distractions. Another additional feature, which is optional to use, is a talkback feature. So you can actually use the microphone from your smart device to actually ask questions back into the room should you want to. So it's a really versatile tool, very low latency as well. So it's worth talking to the Audiologic team for demonstrations of this as well. We've obviously got our traditional wireless microphones. We now look at the digital range predominantly. We've got the entry-level EWD series, which is a really cool, easy to use system. It's geared towards that sort of church, primary school and semi-professional musician. And then when you're stepping up to applications into install world, your EWDX system, which has got only a 1.9 milliseconds of low latency. It's the lowest latent digital wireless microphone system on the market, apart from the very latest Spectera system Sennheiser launched recently. But for most of your install applications, SpeechLine Digital Wireless also goes a long way to ticking the boxes. Wireless, it's been out for 10 years. It operates on DECT, which is 1.9 gigahertz, no licensing, no frequency coordination, works really, really well, long battery life, etc. And both EWDX and SpeechLine Digital Wireless have AES-256 encryption, which is quite key in a lot of install worlds these days. So there we have it. There's the Sennheiser toolbox for meeting your AV applications. And when working with our available alliance partner products from Audiologic, we can formulate a full, complete solution to have happy customers and really well-working installs.
Great, thanks, Inesh. I thought you very quickly touched on the TeamConnect Bar medium that you're using, but I thought it'd be worth talking about what I'm using in the room here today. So you're listening to me via the TeamConnect Ceiling microphone, the medium-sized one. So that's approximately 4.5 meters away from me. And I'm actually operating out of our training room here in Harlow. So this is a fairly big, flexible use case room. This is actually sort of 9 meters by 8 meters. So it's actually quite a lot bigger than we specify for the TeamConnect medium. But as you can hopefully hear, it's doing a really nice job of capturing my voice, even at that sort of distance. I'll break the fourth wall ever so quickly and zoom out. I'm also integrating with the QSys Sear Vision product. So that's using the the AI accelerator to do the camera following that you're seeing here with me today. So that's hopefully giving you a lovely sort of flowing view as I move around the room. I've just turned that off. So you're now obviously getting a full room shot. But as you can see, it's a fairly big space we're doing with the TCCM here. And I think one of the key takeaways we really want to hit home here is that you can think about the sort of room sizes you're doing, and everyone typically always designs with TeamConnect Ceiling 2s, but actually we can start to look at how we can scale down these solutions using either the TCC bars or the TCCMs, or maybe even a combination of the two. Medium-sized spaces is such a vague term. We design them day in, day out, but really there's some nuances as to the products you use and how we deploy the Sennheiser products. That means we can actually be a bit smarter within our design process. I'll turn Sear Vision back on just so a bit more animated. Like we've said, we're here to help you design these spaces. The idea of this webinar isn't that, you know, you look at a few products, we talk about a medium-sized room and you run away and you're that's it, you're sorted for the rest of the time. Here at Audiologic, we are very much here to help with you throughout the design process. So whether it's a very, very simple space and you just want assistance in specifying, is the bar the right size for this? Can I get away with a TCC BRS? All the way up to fully scaled solutions like we've got here, which is a QSys plus Sennheiser deployment. We can help with any of that design process. We're happy to do remote demos. We can dial into this space and show your customers as well. So we're always here to help support you through that. Just a few more key takeaway points. Obviously, the Sennheiser microphones are of such huge quality, which is always going to make the experience as good as possible for the far end. Yes, we're always feeding into a codec, but we always want to be giving the best signal and the best source capture as possible. Us and Sennheiser work crazily close. I mean, Inesh, we've known each other for 8 years now, but it's a very, very good relationship we have there. And we're always working with Sennheiser to design these solutions. But it's all about finding the right tools for the job. No two jobs are really ever the same. Even when we're looking at conferencing spaces, there's always nuances. The rooms always sound different. The acoustics are always going to be different. So we're here to help you in those different steps of the process. And the best of both worlds, obviously, here at Audiologic, we've got a full technical team here to support you. We've got a fantastic product portfolio, and working alongside Sennheiser, it gives us everything we need to hopefully get you the solution that you guys need. Right.
I'll just add to that. Yeah, I'll just add to that because obviously in my time in AV, I've known Audiologic from day one when they first started. And it was a very different beast from when starting from 2-3 people starting the company then to the 40 people that you've got now. And our experience working with you guys has been brilliant because you've built such a great technical support team. It makes our lives easier as well because now we're not having to do a lot of the hand-holding that we used to have to do. You guys are obviously doing that first, second, third line support and design elements. And sometimes you can do it better than us because you know more about the third-party collaboration products that work with our solutions. And you can offer that expertise better than we can quite often. But it's great because we're here to work with each other. We're here to help your customers and your dealers when you need us to, but quite often you guys are happy to do that yourselves, which is equally great. You know, it's awesome.
Too nice. You're too nice. Thank you. Great. I think we're on to Q&A now very quickly. So let's have a quick look at what's popped up in the Q&A.
Probably whizzed through that quite quickly and probably not given.
I don't know. I reckon with the Q&A questions, I reckon we'll be on time. The age-old question, could you just clarify again what the difference between the TCCM and the TCC2 is, and how do I know when to specify each product?
Great question. So a couple of the physical differences is obviously the TCCM is round and the TC2 is square. You can actually get a square tile plate for the TCCM now. But the physical difference is around the number of capsules. The TC2 has 28 capsules in it, TCM has 15, and that goes towards a different pickup range. So the TCM will do a 3.5 to 4.5 pickup radius, and the TC2 will do a 5 to 6 meter pickup radius. A couple of other small differences is that TCM actually benefits from having newer chipset technology. So we've been able to introduce the noise suppression algorithm on there. So the TCCM is actually quite comparable apart from the small range difference.
Yeah, and I think even then it's, as I've said, I'm slightly beyond sort of the 4 meter specified distance. It is a very, very capable microphone and definitely worth considering when you are designing with the TCC2. Please do bear in mind the TCCM because obviously there's a fair bit of cost savings by going from the 2 to the M. So it's always worth bearing in mind. Absolutely.
I should add that there is a big price difference as well. I mean, the TC2 has a list price, including VAT, of around £5,200, and the TCM has a list price, including VAT, of around about £3,000. So massive difference. Yeah.
Inesh, could you tell us a little bit about just to double on again, the TCC bar expansion using the Dante ports?
Yes. So I did briefly mention that both bars have the capability of having up to 2 Dante channels coming in. And so that's up to any two Dante microphones going in to the system. So if you're trying to push the boundaries or overcome some acoustic difficulties in a space, you can do that by adding additional mics. And while Dante is a standard and you can use any Dante mic, obviously it sounds better if it was a Sennheiser mic. So you could potentially use a TeamConnect Ceiling medium into the bar, and that would cover quite a decent size space without any additional processing.
Hi Jim, I've got a great question from Jim. Of course it's a nerdy question, I'd expect nothing less. How do the microphones distinguish between speech in the room and any spurious background noise?
Great question. So I presume we're talking about the noise suppression algorithm on TeamConnect Ceiling Medium. So you have the ability to set the algorithm to 3 different settings. There's a high, a low, and or a low, medium, and high. We always say do not use the high. You will start to affect the actual speech that you're trying to pick up. But if the background noise is that sufficient, a low or medium setting would automatically look at consistent levels of noise and start to reduce that in the algorithm. It will cancel it out. So any speech, which is then not consistent, obviously, because nature of speech tends to be a bit random, it will be not affected by the noise suppression algorithm. That's the high-end technical aspect I can answer that for you at the moment. But if you need more detail,
impressed if you could tell us exactly how the algorithm is doing it. The short answer is there's an algorithm. Background noise is obviously we're looking for consistent performance and how to remove that versus a known speech band and frequency responses. So as with Microsoft Teams, as with QSys, as with Sennheiser, the algorithms are all tuned ever so slightly differently, but they're looking to get rid of consistent background noise. We've had another question from Richard. Could the Mobile Connect solution act as a hearing loop at a customer counter in a bank or a credit union, for example?
Great question. We get that asked many times, and the answer is yes, if the budget is there. It's quite an expensive solution to use for that application. And the real answer is the modern hearing aid generally works like ears, our normal ears do. So in that one-to-one counter situation, most people don't actually use any assisted listening. They're reliant on the high quality digital microphone in the hearing aid for that one-to-one conversation. Mobile Connect comes into its own in those larger meeting spaces when you're seated in a larger meeting space, and you might have distractive noises where that digital microphone might start to pick up things that you don't want it to pick up. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
I think Mobile Connect is designed for scale. So think lecture theatres, think auditoriums and everything like that, where everyone's going to join the system on their phones, connect to Wi-Fi and listen through that. When you're looking at one-to-one encounters like, checkouts, bank counters and everything like that, that's probably a slightly more traditional induction loop type approach, at least at this point in time, which scales more correctly for that sort of deployment. Obviously, the next scale of that will be Auracast, which is in the talks a lot at the moment, but that's not for today's webinar. We could do a long old webinar on that and get input on that, but that's probably not for today's session. Cool. Any more questions? Richard, are there any plans to expand the MCR range to 8 channels? Oh, we're asking for trade secrets now. Inesh, what can you tell us?
We often get asked that. And the answer is not at the moment. You can obviously use 2 MCR4s side by side. Obviously, that does increase connectivity. But I always ask, when you get to that number of mics, do you actually need individual mics, or does a ceiling mic, beamforming ceiling mic, actually cover what you need to cover, especially if you need to do a bit of voice lift in that space? So the answer is no, but my question would be, do you actually need that many mics?
And then,
sometimes the answer is yes.
I know we're slightly okay. We'll make this the last question just because I'm conscious we've hit the time. Final question from Richard: do the bars support the TCC bars support external PTZ cameras? Is it just as simple as plugging in the USB? Great question.
So both bars has a spare USB Type A connector, which is acting as a USB hub. So yes, you can put a third-party camera into that bar. But when you open up Teams or Zoom, you're then manually selecting between which camera you want to use. So yes, is the answer. Yeah, I mean, the bars are obviously designed to be an all-in-one solution. I think if you're looking for an external PTZ solution and then you're just using the bar as a speaker and a microphone, there's some design considerations there, definitely. So yes, it is doable. Yes, because it's acting as a USB hub. But as you can see from Inesh's image, the built-in camera quality with its digital framing, it's got its ePTZ in there, is already very, very good.
Great, some very, very good questions all around there. Thank you. It's always a lot more enjoyable when there are questions to answer. Thank you everyone for that. We will be sending out, like I've said, a recording of this webinar afterwards. You'll get a follow-up to your email. If you scan the QR code, that will take you to a dedicated Audiologic and Sennheiser contact page, which will reach out to you and help organise any demos and or system designs that you would like. Also keep your eyes peeled. Next week we will be having a new Audio Matters, which is our new video series. There'll be a new bit of content coming out next week on the TCC bar, so please do keep your eyes peeled for that. Other than that, thank you very much, Inesh, for joining me today. Thank you all for taking half an hour out of your mornings. It's massively appreciated. Like I said, any questions, just follow up via the form, and hopefully we'll see you on another session soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.